Hey guys, it's Naturally Me Smooches, and I just got back from the doctors. Just got back from the neuro-ophthalmologist. It had to do, with the follow-ups after my brain surgery. Today is exactly 2 months that I had brain surgery. I had a benign tumor in my pituitary gland. It was affecting me to the point that I was losing my vision, but I didn't know I had it. Now, I'm a type of person that goes to the doctor yearly, go through all my exams and have all my tests, and I'm pretty good at that. And it wasn't in court until the day I went to the emergency, actually about 3 days before the 5th, that, actually 5 days before the 5th, that after MRI was done, that's when my tumor was found out about. And they kept me in the hospital for 2 days, and after tests and stuff like that. And then the brain surgeon said that they're going to do a surgery in like 2 weeks from then. And at that point, I was really upset because I didn't know how bad it was going to be, if I was going to be alive, if it was going to affect my vision, would I be blind, and everything like that. So for, I would say, like a day or so, I was upset about that. And actually, just want to say that dominicalovely is the one, she has a YouTube site, she's the one that drove me to the emergency, because for like a week, I would say my vision every day was getting worse and worse and worse, and then I was getting headaches. And then I woke up a Saturday morning, not September 5th, but 5 days before that. I woke up a Saturday morning, and I called dominicalovely and told her I think I needed to go to emergency because my vision is bad and my head is killing me. So at first I went to the non-emergency center because, there's insurances, they won't cover the emergency if it wasn't an emergency, because I've been to the emergency before that I thought was an emergency. But apparently my insurance did not. So I didn't want to take a chance with that because you have to pay out of pocket. So I went to a non-emergency center, and they did some basic tests on me and said that I should go to emergency. So I went to emergency and waited there for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And finally, they took me down for an MRI, and it came to find out that I had the tumor, benign tumor in my pituitary gland, and that's what was affecting my vision, because the tumor was against my pituitary gland, putting pressure on it, and it was affecting my sight. So they kept me in for 2 days after tests, and the surgeon talking to me and said that in 2 weeks I would have the surgery. Now, like I said, when I first heard it, I was upset and everything. But then maybe like a day after, I was okay with it. Like I was in peace. Like I talked to God, I prayed to God, and I actually think that this happened to me because of God, in a good way, because I was going through a lot of stuff, which I'm going to make a video on that as well. But everything happens for a reason, and this was for the best reason ever. And it was a wake-up call for me and just everybody else. So anyway, so I went home. My sister is in the medical field, and because my sight, was affected, and I'm legally blind in one eye in the first place since I was little, that I need this eye. So if it's affecting my vision, there's a chance that I may be blind or something. So my sister's in the medical field, like I said, and she was pressuring the doctors to please get the surgery done, and he was like, no, and to even consider it, she has to see the neuro-ophthalmologist, she has to see her general doctor, and she has to see an endocrinologist. So it just so happened 2 of the doctors are in the same building that I go to faithfully, and the ophthalmologist was like 7 minutes away from where my doctor's office were. And after all the tests and checking my peripheral vision, doing all these basic tests and stuff, they all recommended that I needed the surgery done as soon as possible. Everybody's concern was about I only have one eye, and if that eye gets damaged, it's gonna affect me. And of course, there was other, more life-threatening reasons as well. Who knows if I would come out of the tumor, the surgery, or whatever. So my sister busted her butt to get this done. And we had like I said, we had the 3 doctor's appointments in one day. And then I would say about 2 days later, the doctor told my sister, okay, have her come to emergency, do another MRI, and see how everything is. And I guess he would decide what he would do then. Go to emergency and did another MRI, and it showed that my tumor had actually gotten bigger, and I was bleeding, and it was bleeding. So of course now there's an emergency. We got to get this tumor done quickly. They wanted to do it the night I went to the emergency, but when they found out when they found out that it gotten worse, a nurse had already given me something to eat, because I had been there for like 10 or 12 hours before they even gave me the MRI, and I was starving. And then like after the MRI, I was like, can I eat? So they checked with a doctor, and it was okayed. And when I took a couple of bites, that's when I found out that they wanted to do the surgery right away. But because I ate, they couldn't do it. So they had to wait first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, we get into the operating room, and they're saying we have to wait till the afternoon, because the anesthesiologist had looked into my records, or looking at the chart or whatever, and he saw a problem with something that had to do with my levels. So he said there's no way he would give me anesthesia until my levels was straight. So all the doctors in the operating room, which was a team of 5 doctors, it was the brain surgeon, the anesthesiologist, the ENT for my nasal polyps, because if you listen to my videos prior to this, I had surgery with my nasal polyps. It ended up being a 2-in-1 surgery, my brain tumor along with my nasal polyps, and a practical nurse, and I can't remember who the 5th person was. But they all was in agreement that they would change my surgery until the afternoon. So afternoon came, and they were able to do my surgery, as you see. And in order to do the brain surgery, they had to do my nasal polyps. Now, the traditional brain surgery, they shave your head, they go through your brain, your skull, and that's how they do the surgery. Now they do a non-invasive way where they go up your nose. So they were able to do the surgery that way. They had to. They had no choice. They said I would have bled to death if they went the other way because of my nasal polyps. And that's why the ENT was in the surgery room in case of problems, and it ended up they needed him, and he removed most of my polyps that was in my nostrils. He said it had clustered in my nostrils. So they were able to remove that and then do the surgery, and everything came out successful. And here I am. So I do a lot of follow-ups now. My brain surgery surgeon okayed everything, saying everything came out okay. I don't have to see him for 6 months. So my endocrinologist, I have to take hydrocortisone because of my cortisol levels. Cortisol is what keep your stress levels maintained, like blood pressure and stuff like that. So I have to keep taking that. She says it's probably going to be for the rest of my life, but they're going to do another blood test. She did one blood test, and it showed my levels were really, really low for the cortisol levels. So there's a chance I might have to be on that medication. That medication for the rest of my life. And I was just on this other medication I had already been on as far as for my hypothyroid, the Synthroid, and I'm taking for my acid reflux, famotidine, and I'm taking, what am I taking? Singular for my nose, for my allergies, and, a whole bunch of medication. Now I have to keep contact with that. But it's okay. I'm alive, so I got to do what I got to do to stay alive and stay healthy. And, you know, nothing comes back. So I'm going to do a part 2 to this. Maybe my phone's ringing. I think it's an important message. So I'm going to hang up right now. Smooches. Ooh, excuse me.